Right now. So if you have a pet, you know it can certainly be expensive just to walk in the door of the vet office.
I know. If your pet gets sick, the vet bills can be thousands of dollars. Insurance is supposed to help, but the cost for that is soaring too.
That's right. So Bergen County Congressman Josh Gottheimer sounding the alarm. Congressman joining us now to talk more about the rising cost of pet insurance. So Congressman, good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
All three of us are dog owners right here on this screen. And let me tell you, I started off paying one price and boy, is it expensive. And then it covers not a whole lot. So what's going on here?
Well, I think you join the frustration of millions of people. 66% of the country owns a pet, right? So you're talking about a lot of people. And during the pandemic, another 20 million people got pets, right?
Yeah.
So lots of cats and dogs out there and a lot of lovers of animals. And we know that it's expensive when you go, as you pointed out, when you go to the veterinarian. The challenge right now is costs before the pandemic were up 40% for insurance because a lot of people have insurance. In fact, more than 20 million people in the last few years have gotten pet insurance to help pay these very, very expensive bills, especially if there's a major problem. You know, that's when the costs really add up. And right now, I turn around, I start hearing my constituents, and I got one of these letters too, that the major pet insurance companies want to jack up rates even more. I mean, crazy.
Up to 40%, some of them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, actually, Trupanion, one of them is 33%. They've asked New Jersey to raise their rate. Healthy Paws, 44%. And Metropolitan General Insurance, 56% in 1 year. So that's how much they want to raise these rates. And listen, I know veterinary costs are up for these companies. I spoke to them, but they're up 10%. So I don't understand how they turn around and want to jack prices up 56%. And what's going to happen is people can't afford it. And then it's a big reason. This is like one of the biggest reasons people have to, unfortunately, return their pets or give them away is because they can't afford to keep them if there's a health issue.
Yeah.
So what is driving up the cost, though?
It's really, if you ask the companies, they say it's the veterinarian bills. And by the way, again, they're up 10%. But so you understand, okay, they want to charge $1 or $2 more. But here's what I said to them. Millions of people, 23 million people got a pet in the last few years, new dogs and cats, right? So you have a lot more people getting insured, tens of millions of people getting pet insurance. So that actually should ease the pain for them because you're a lot more people insured. It spreads the costs out. So I don't really know what they're doing. It's why I've written to the New Jersey Commission of Insurance, and I've also reached out to the Department of Treasury here in Washington because they have an insurance sector to say, hey, let's look at this nationally. And in New Jersey, why don't we try to slow the roll here? Let's look for some more reasonable changes that we can make.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have to say, I did have pet insurance. My dog had a $10,000 issue that was covered, right? But that was a one-off. And so are there options, and I can't believe we're talking to a congressman about options here for pet insurance, but, you know, for overall, for people who can just maybe insure their pet for like a catastrophic event?
Well, I mean, there's all different options out there. And by the way, this is an issue that people talk to you a lot about because they love their animals, right?
Yes,
I mean,
of course.
My dog, Rosalita, because it's a Springsteen song, of course. She named after Springsteen.
Nice.
These, as you point out, these seems to be very, very expensive. And most of these plans don't actually cover the well visits. But it's when, as you said, when there's a catastrophic incident that they're covered when it can cost you $10,000, you know, in one go. But the key, I've just asked them, hey, listen, can you please reconsider what you've submitted? Because in New Jersey, they've just submitted for an increase. Hey, why don't we say, let's sit down again and try to look for a more reasonable price, make life more affordable for folks so they can keep their animals and care for their animals and make sure we can afford life a little bit more.
Okay.
Well, what are possible solutions then to bringing those costs down?
Well,
go ahead.
So they have to, they submitted already, but they haven't been approved in New Jersey for these sky-high price hikes. So one thing is just to pull it back, and I'm asking them to reconsider. I say to the Department of Insurance, please reject those proposals and go back to the table on something more reasonable for folks that people can handle. Right. And that's really, I think, the number one solution. And then nationally, we've asked the Department of Treasury to just investigate what's going on with these companies. There's some people in some of these companies that are, you know, there's some questionable practices. You just want to make sure that everything is on the up and up and that they're not returning and that people aren't forced to return their pets. Because 45% of those who return their animals, their dogs, it's because of the costs, and most of those costs related to health and health costs.
That's just upsetting because they become family, right? And if you can't afford it, and it becomes a whole other issue. While we have you, Congressman, and we're talking about rising costs of everything, a lot of talk about congestion pricing. So what's the update here? I know you've been fighting the fight for a lot of the New Jersey residents on trying to put this to a halt, or at least get an exemption. What's the latest?
Well, on the congestion tax, which, for everyone watching, that's what New York wants to stick Jersey and the outer boroughs and Westchester, $23 a day additional tax on top of what you already pay to go over the bridges and tunnels. What we've asked for is that they reconsider this proposal, especially after their report showing the pollution and carcinogens and all the toxic air that's coming out, it would come out of trucks by the GW Bridge and all the cars piled up in Lincoln. So we've again asked them to reconsider this proposal. That's another one where New York's sticking it to people, hardworking families, just like this pet insurance, where it's sticking it to hardworking families.
All right, what's the answer here? Because I spoke to the MTA chair. He says we're moving forward with it. So what's the response you're getting?
You see, New Jersey is sued. So we're waiting for an answer there. You're seeing, and I frankly think there's going to be a lot more action coming out of Jersey. That if New York wants to go ahead and stick it to people, hardworking folks, to make up for John O'Lieber's MTA mess that he's created there, with where you're losing $2.5 billion a year and $700 million last year on fare skippers, people who literally just jump over the turnstiles and don't pay. When they start running a better MTA system, maybe they can come to us for a discussion. But for right now, we're just going to keep fighting back every which way. I think John shouldn't start measuring the drapes of the congestion tax just yet for New York, because we've got a lot of fight back in Jersey. And we just want actually to have a reasonable, what we're asking is like what we do with the Port Authority, have just sit down together, work as a regional economy. New York businesses are equally upset about this, because you can imagine how fewer people are going to come to work to pay for this. So I don't understand this proposal at all, frankly, especially if you're a New York business and you're trying to get people to come back to New York.
All right.
Why would you hit it to them? So there'll be a lot of fight coming up. Stay tuned for some new action.
Okay,
Stay
Congressman.
tuned.
All right, keep us posted on both, on congestion pricing and pet insurance. We appreciate your time.
Got it. I'll be back.
All
Thanks.
right. Thanks so much.